Hi, everyone, and welcome to my I Love Learning podcast. Today's season 2. It's just starting a new season, and I am so excited, you all, to have with me today Frank and Lisa, and they're representing Be Encouraged. And I am, oh my goodness, of all time, we need to be encouraged. So I am so thankful and so blessed that they agreed to join me today for my podcast. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Frank, for being here with me today. I appreciate it. Why don't you introduce yourselves and tell the audience what you're passionate about?
Awesome. You want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay.
Lady first.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Sinnott, Chief Resilience Officer here in Colorado Springs. I am co-host to the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa. We are truly passionate about infusing hope and encouragement throughout the whole world. I'm also passionate at being a mama and a wife, and family comes first in a lot of things that I do, and weaving what Frank and I do on infusing hope and encouragement throughout my family as well. So, yeah.
I love that.
Hi, I'm Frank Sinclair, and I own Dream Again Business Consulting, obviously with Lisa, the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa as well. And I am passionate about humans. I am incredibly passionate about humanity, humans, with all of our stuff, with everything that we are. I stay incredibly curious about the plight, the lives, and the movement of humanity.
That is beautiful. You know, Frank and Lisa, like 2 Fridays ago, I was in Chicago doing a talk for about 323 people, 25 people. And I asked the audience, I said, how many of you feel like nines or tens today? And Frank, you say, you love people and humanity. Guess how many people raised their hand in that room?
15.
Three people.
Oh,
No, I'm serious.
Benefit of the doubt.
Three people. And so when I think of this, I think about, obviously they're having hurdles, right? There's some sort of hurdle, there's some sort of roadblock that's keeping them away from feeling encouraged and being happy. Can each of you like maybe talk to like maybe a time in your own life you faced a roadblock or a hurdle, or maybe you can offer some encouragement for the 323 people who didn't raise their hand a couple Fridays ago?
Yeah. Well, I'll start on this one, Lisa. Hurdles. Oh my God. I could use the whole show just for that, right?
No kidding.
Yeah. I was a homeless man here in Colorado Springs when
Wow.
a re-entry point back to Colorado Springs when I sabotaged my career in the military.
Wow.
I've been divorced after 20 years. My kids have been estranged from me. I've had cancer twice in the last 2 years. I got more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So life is just a series of ups and downs and all arounds and those types of things. So, but I'm not captive to my circumstances. I'm captive to the possibilities. And as long as I can breathe, I'm going to continue to look for the opportunities and the possibilities that we call life.
Wow. That is beautiful. I mean, gosh, you can really solve a problem that we have, everywhere in the world, like you said. I mean, in Charleston, even there's a lot of individuals who are homeless, and down and out, and to have you inspire them, and knowing that you were at that point and being on the street and not knowing what to do next, like what an awesome opportunity, like you said, that you have and you provide. You just inspire me, Frank. I mean, honestly. And I mean that, because to have the courage that you had and have every day to get up and do what you do is beautiful. So thank you. I appreciate that. Lisa, tell us. Let's hear.
Yeah. Well, growing up with not a lot of money, single mama, tons of abandonment, daddy issues, of course, twice divorced, having to be a single mom twice, 2 different stages, was very interesting. Having to redo my life twice was a lot. And being responsible for the lives of my children and caring for them and making sure that there's food on the table. And having grown up with a mom who's clinically depressed herself. So I didn't really, yes, I experienced watching my mom as a single mom, but not a very successful example. So trying to stay afloat and do all that was a lot. I'm now happily remarried to an amazing man, John Sinnott. I love you.
Oh, call out. I love that. Oh
Yes.
my
He's
goodness.
a great guy.
He truly is.
Aw.
But yeah, just and yesterday I was able to also
Yes.
share about past abusive situations for the first time ever publicly.
Wow.
And that was challenging. And I didn't know this. One of my friends who's a really good speaker, she's like, well, they always teach us you speak from the scars, not the wounds. And I'm like, oh, now you telling me?
Oh, gave you that
Speaking out of the
tip.
wound yesterday.
Oh, well,
I'm
you
glad
know
she
what?
didn't tell her that before, Dr. Gina, because coming out of the wounds was absolutely perfect
Was it?
yesterday
Oh,
for the audience that we had.
See why I keep him
I
around all
know.
the
It's
time?
amazing. You guys have so much synergy. I love that. And you support each other. I mean, that's what's powerful. You can just see it, the love you have for each other, the pillars you are for each other. I saw on social media, Lisa, that you shared that for the first time. And I'm going through a similar journey and sharing a story that in November for the first time. And I really feel that the reason why I've done it, and I'd love to hear, your thoughts of maybe that's what's kept you, continue moving forward towards your passion. But this idea of opening up, I think, creates ripples to help others feel comfortable to come out and share their story or share and get help. And you never know who you're going to help, and be authentic and just really caring about, like Frank said, to be, honest, other people and their journey. So Lisa, what is it like? What keeps you moving forward in your journey towards your passion? Is it sharing your story, or what, kind of what was that?
So, it's interesting because my oldest daughter actually sent me a text about an hour ago because I had shared with her last night, okay, I did it for the first time, and I was super shaky about it, but I felt relieved and all the things. And she texted me today and said, hey, I really feel like God is going to use you now. And he's actually, because we are always encouraging many, many people, but she's like, I feel that now you need to like tie your right hand behind your back and use your left hand with your story and like really be vulnerable and share authentically your story, because I've been bottled up with it, and for many different valid reasons, but still it's like, oh, how do I craft it? How do I say it? How do I protect the predators that could do crazy things, hearing it, all the things. There's a lot going around domestic violence that there's fear, I don't know, there's a lot to it. So luckily I got this guy though, because he'll help me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Frank, what is it for you that keeps you like moving forward towards your passion of people and knowing that you've had these hurdles and you continue to have these hurdles?
Well, this is what I was designed for. It's human design, Dr. Gina. And when we find our design finally, that's what energizes us. No human on earth is energized to do things they weren't designed to do. And you should be, until you find it, looking for your design. And I finally found mine, the reason for being. Until I stopped breathing or physically incapable of doing it, I'm always energized to continue my work, because I know that's where I create value in humanity.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And I'll just say, before Frank and I partnered together with the Be Encouraged show, we were both simultaneously like in two separate lanes in the community, but doing very similar things, encouraging people and just trailblazing and being master connectors, all the things. And then when we came together, it's like, oh yes, immediately. Yes. This
immediately.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Without a doubt, this was, or preordained that her and I connect, and we have such supportive spouses in this space.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Thank you,
Because if
Lord,
we
for that.
didn't, we could not do this, right? So,
Ah,
so it's incredible that our spouses allow us to
ah.
spend as much time together as we have to do the work that we do.
That is beautiful. From a learning science standpoint, there's so much research on the neural activity, and what happens when you have these synapses together as you collaborate, and the beautiful nature of how that is so powerful to create change, not only within ourselves, but within other people. And doing it in twos and threes is just so powerful. So thank you for finding each other and for creating this amazing synergy that you do out in the wild. And what keeps you both happy? I mean, every time I've seen you, so I was on your podcast, I met you, I see you on social media. What keeps you both happy and moving towards your passion?
Well, I would say for me, self-care has been
Mm,
huge. Starting last January is when I really decided, okay, I need to take care of Lisa. And because
mm,
I felt like I was losing myself almost, I would go to tons of meetings and pour so much into people. But I realized that I was losing my strength
mm.
and internally. And I'm like, okay, this can't happen. So now I fill my cup as I need to be filled. I will clear my calendar if it needs to be cleared. Now
Mm.
I go to therapy once a week. I have a
Mhm.
massage once a week. Like, I'm taking care of Lisa, because when you are doing what we are doing, pouring into humans all day long, it
Yes.
really does zap you, because you're giving your all, like we do. We're so
Mm.
passionate, and we give our all when we're in crowds or just one-to-ones with people having a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
For me, it's, I'm generally this way, so I won't take any credit, right? It's
Oh.
just really a gifting for me that I've
Mm.
always walked in the space of encouragement and joy, right?
Aw.
People have
Uh-huh.
always followed me from that
Uh-huh.
positioning of my life and etc. So I don't do all the great thing Lisa does to keep herself forward. I get up this way. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. It's rare when she ever sees me and it feels like the energy level's a little low. She's going, "What's wrong? You
Yeah.
okay?" Right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah.
accustomed to this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get it twisted, of course, I'm a
Yeah.
human and I have bad spaces, bad times, but I am
Uh-huh.
generally just so excited for what's next.
I love that. So
Yeah.
there's not something, Frank, that you can like put your finger on that you learned like when you were homeless, or I mean all these things that you've been through, like you said, the military, and there's not something that you learned that was pivotal in like changing your mindset, or
You're
was it?
okay.
Okay.
His fight. He gets up every morning at
Yeah.
5 a.m.,
Yeah,
sits
that's
in his
good.
computer for an hour, and does all his encouragement posts. And he's
Yeah.
not doing that for anyone else but himself. He is
Yes.
encouraging. He's self-motivating, getting
Mm.
pumped up. So it's like he's his own coach, right? He's like, "Yes, you can do it, Frank. You can do it," by all those encouragement posts. I love that when you shared that with me,
Really?
because
I
he
love
is that
that.
disciplined. He is.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this, not to be nerdy and geeky about science, but I will say that there is a lot of neuroscience that points to, finding when you're the most creative. And many people, it's the first thing when you wake up. Not
Mhm.
everybody, everyone
Yep.
has their own peaks of days where they're at their best.
Yep.
But the first moment of sunlight, going out in the light, being in natural light is good for your brain food. So Frank
Yeah.
is living it and feeling it in his cells. So that is a research study right there, Frank, you can be involved in.
Indeed. Even when I was sleeping underneath a bush in Acacia Park every
Oh,
day,
yeah.
you know what my thought pattern was? Oh
Mm,
my, this is pretty awesome. I'm getting no mortgage bills, no phone bills, no utilities, and I'm getting to
yeah.
get up and hang out with people that are in the same space as me. Now, how cool
Yeah.
is that? I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my perspective is really, I'm trying to pull out what's the positives out of this. And
Got
if
it.
people will look and
Mm,
really genuinely explore the opportunity, there's always some positives in every challenge.
Yes.
mm,
You just have
mm,
to look for them. You see what you look for,
Yes.
mm.
right? And
Yes.
that's what I'm looking for.
I got it. That I mean,
Yeah.
that is such an important point, right? Because it's how you see things and look at the life and where's your locus of control? Are you in control? Are you not in control? So important, so important. And I think about this concept of winning, Frank and Lisa. Like
Mhm.
my podcast series this season is about winning because I think we have to consider what does winning mean to us. And when you hear the word winning, what does winning look to Frank and Lisa at Be Encouraged? Lisa, what do you think? What does winning look like to you?
I'll give you an example. We just launched the free hug campaign here in Colorado Springs where we do this pop up. Bank of Colorado sponsored us. They loved the idea so much that they bought our banner. And
Uh,
yeah, and we went in front of the courthouse and we popped up that morning for an hour just giving hugs. And I would say we had about 95% of the people say, yes, I need a hug. Their emotions are on their face. They're about to go into court. And it was so touching. Even the
uh,
security guard who was going in for his shift came in. He's like, yeah,
uh,
he knows it. I mean, it was so powerful. I love that
yes.
day.
Yeah,
That was a win.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Frank, what do you think?
Wow, that was an incredible win. We win every day.
We do.
I'm saying, when
Let's
being
be
with
real.
Lisa, I mean, that's a win
Aw,
in and of
Oh
itself. What an
gosh.
incredible
aw,
partner I have in this journey along the path of lifting up humanity. And for me, a win is that when I can see the smile on her face,
Mhm.
when I can see the joy
aw,
that's radiating in her heart, in the heart
yes.
of the people that are around us, is when, because it's not about Frank Sinclair.
No.
That's why I'm free to do this work, because it's not about me. It's about whom we're affecting and whom we're lifting up and raising up uh, in space and time, especially in such a hard and painful time in humanity.
Yes.
That we get to
Yes.
do this.
We all need each other. And people are so used to, I can do it myself. I've got this.
Mhm.
Well, no, we all don't have this. Like, we need each other. You know what I mean? We can
Yes.
glean from each other.
Yes.
Absolutely. I wish you all were at my talk with me and you could have walked around and given everyone a hug. Now, I walked around and gave everybody a sticker and I thanked them for being there. And I'll be amazed. Like I had people say no one has ever thanked me at work.
Mm.
Nobody has ever done that. So that's a very powerful people going into a courthouse.
Yeah.
And at this time of very high stress and unknown and uncertainty, that is powerful. And I think about the population, well, the whole population worldwide today is, I didn't know this until this morning, but because every day I consider mental health to be important, but today
Yeah.
is the worldwide mental health day. And it's so beautiful to have you both on my podcast on this day, because like you said, every day we need to win and we need
Yes.
to win together. But sometimes there's folks out there that are listening, or maybe not listening. Somebody will share this, that they've really lost their passion
Mhm.
and they really don't feel like they're winning.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've all had those moments. So what advice could you guys provide, you two beautiful humans? What could you provide to somebody listening, or maybe somebody walking in that courthouse that day that didn't really know how they were going to move forward with their own life that day?
Yeah. Well, you talk about losing passion. To me, this is something that I think every human needs to consider. If it's truly a passion, remember the Latin word for passion is suffering. If it's truly a passion, you're going to lose it. Maybe you're losing something that wasn't a passion.
Mm,
Maybe the strength of this challenge is causing you to really discover what truly you were meant to do. So you're going to have to jettison a lot of stuff on the path to getting to the stuff that you're really supposed to do. Right? It just is. That's the pathway to passion. So jettison it If it's not enough to motivate you to continue forward, question whether it's truly a passion.
Well said, Frank. Well said. Lisa, what do you think?
I think, well, what's really coming to mind, it's a different angle of the passion piece, but when my first husband left me with a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old, I was almost scared to be relieved.
Mm.
And I was the good, solid Christian woman. And I thought, oh, no. I can't be divorced. I can't do this. But at the same time, I'm like, could tomorrow I be happy, be at peace, and actually live a life that I can be passionate about? That was huge for me.
Yes.
That's powerful. I mean,
is
because whatever's holding us back, whether it's fear, whether it's judgment, whatever it is, I love this idea of really reflecting, like you said, and also questioning and thinking about, is this really where I should be or need to be? That is so important.
Yeah.
Last week I had on the president and COO of Dorn Transfer Company. And this season, I'm doing something a little different where I have my previous guests and they've kind of research you and see what you're about. And then they ask a question to you. And so his question to you, Lisa and Frank, was, how do you prioritize the time that you have between work, your own family, and then also learning and curiosity? Because I know that this is something that you both are really passionate about. So how would you respond to Robert?
Well, I say, Robert, first of all, please jettison the thought of work-life balance. And if that's what you're looking for, that's an illusion. That simply isn't. If you have something that's really that you're passionate about, then you begin to integrate that in all of life. That is work-life integration, not balance. And when you say it's important enough where it can interrupt you, where it can cause delays and other things in your life, and you have a partner and other people, you're surrounded by people that can support integration instead of balance, then you're on your path. It's easier for me. All my kids are grown.
Yes,
it's just
he's
Michelle.
An empty nester.
It's just Michelle and me, right? And Michelle supports me incredibly well in the work that I do, and she gives me the latitude and the freedom to do it and integrate all of my work into our lives.
Yes. And for me, I mean, you know, I've got kids in sports, all the things, 2 kids still at home. So the balance, and, you know, an awesome husband too. But for me, it's open communication with everyone so that they understand. Like there's certain things that I have to do when I come home after an event late at night, or like Frank, he doesn't think twice if I text him at 5 a.m. and I don't do a formality, good morning, how are you? I'm just like, okay, we need to do da 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 da. You know what I mean? He's like on the treadmill with me going 5.5 speed, and we're good. And he knows that.
Yeah.
So a different partner, that would not work if he expected me to like be all cordial and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm very strategic on who is in my life and who I surround myself with in my immediate sphere. And that's Frank and my family. And he is like family.
Yes.
So, but it's always a weaving in and out, even on the weekends. I am trying to balance it more. So, you know, sometimes John will check me and say, okay, every weekend, the past 4 weekends, you've been gone. And I'm like, okay, okay. So then I'll start saying no to the weekend stuff, you know, once again, so that could be more with the family. So, but it truly is, we've agreed, if I'm being paid on the weekend, go for it. If I'm not being paid, stop it.
Got it. Well, that's a good compromise. I like that.
I mean, that goes back to the communication with my husband, where he's like, oh, all day. If you're getting paid, that makes sense. But if you're not, why?
Yes. Yes, I love that. Well, something is certainly clear here, and this is something I think that the listeners really need to hear and take to heart, that if you're alone and you're doing this alone, find a friend, find somebody with similar views, similar interests, similar passions that you can collaborate with, and look at Lisa and Frank. I mean, they're the best of friends. They're doing powerful things together. It's a community. Don't do this alone. Don't do this alone. So next week, I want you guys to ask Lee Wang a question. Let me tell you a little bit about her, my guest next week, and then you guys can think of a question and you can ask her, and then next week she can answer it. So she is an Asian American woman who her culture, her family, her environment was kind of keeping her in a specific space. Like, this is what you should do with your life. This is what we think you ought to do with your life. And she was on that path. She's tiny, she's a little person. And one day she said, you know what? I want to do something different. I'm going to climb the highest mountain peak in the world. Oh. And she has the title of Mighty Mouse because she is a boulderer. She climbs. She's a climber. And if you listen to her next week, you are going to be completely blown away by her strength and resilience. So what question would you like her to answer to our guest next week as she comes on my podcast?
So she physically climbs these highest things?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would like to ask her, how does that symbolize daily life for you? Climbing the highest peaks physically, what would it look like to climb the highest peak mentally for you?
That's perfect. I love that. That's a great question. All right, Lisa, Frank, send us off today. Let the listeners give them one last word of final advice. How do you want them to remember you? Tell them where they can find you. Tell them where they can connect with you. You guys are beautiful. Send us off today.
Yes. Well, I'm going to send you off this way because Dr. Gina Anderson, you are incredible. And those are your bad
kids.
You are amazing. I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to meet you. Ladies and gentlemen, rise to your highest self. And first of all, the word believe has to be incorporated in that ascent because you can go nowhere that you can't believe you can go. So start up leveling your belief quotient and start believing you have never achieved all that you were designed to. You may probably never will in life, but be committed to achieving the highest possibilities for yourself and don't allow anything or anyone to keep that from happening.
And I would like to say, for those of you around the world, we do a live Instagram free 30-minute interview with amazing business owners, whether it's profit, nonprofit, or just go-givers who's pouring into humanity. You can go to our website at beencouraged.net to get scheduled for that. We would love to have you. Also, self-talk. Pay attention to what you are thinking each day and really be cognizant of it. And if it's not positive and encouraging, switch the narrative in your mind and start doing positive thinking. And if you don't know how to do that, then look up positive quotes like this guy does every morning to self-talk, because the more you pour into yourself the positivity is going to exude out from you to the world.
Indeed.
And with that, I leave you today with these two wonderful folks.